Why is it that people on the political left are so quick to denounce the Second Amendment? Well, there's several answers to this question, but one that we might want to think about is the idea that the right to keep and bear arms is a God-given right as opposed to a government-issued privilege. What's the difference? Well, a privilege is man-made and can be given or taken away. A right cannot, because it's inherent in us, because of being born and existing under God. Now, in our Declaration of Independence, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Unalienable means it's not transferable to another, nor can it be taken away or denied. But the constant effort from the left is to do exactly that, especially when it comes to our right to defend our own lives. So let's say, hypothetically, you wanted to create a large group of people that would go against our Bill of Rights. We'd first have to get them to deny the fact that our rights are inherent just by being human. These people would have to be able to deny the most important fact and the undeniable. They'd have to believe that rights don't come from God. But if they believe in God, this is going to be a very difficult task. So the push to denounce God or a higher power runs rampant on the political left for the purpose of taking rights away from people and putting them under the control of government.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
A natural human instinct is to gravitate toward our Creator. But when people are disillusioned to believe that that Creator doesn't exist, human beings naturally gravitate toward the next highest power. For many, that power is government. At that point, unalienable rights, inherent in human beings and given by God, become nothing more than an antiquated, abstract notion that has no validity. When Friedrich Nietzsche said God is dead, he was referring to the Enlightenment movement and how it had contributed to the erosion of religious beliefs. Now, these beliefs had been the foundational belief system for much of the world. Bacon and Descartes were considered the fathers of the Enlightenment as the scientific method gained momentum and the need of some to denounce their spiritual beliefs in the favor of an appearance of intellectual superiority became more important. Today, that so-called Enlightenment movement has taken on a different name. Many believe progressivism or even wokeism describes those with the ideology Nietzsche was talking about. So how does this affect our freedom? How does this affect our gun rights? Well, the answer is simple. If people can denounce God and make their way into our government as legislators and bureaucrats, they can easily justify taking the right to keep and bear arms from the people and give it to government, so it can be afforded to a select few in the form of a privilege that can easily and quickly be taken away at any time, turning unalienable and God-given into government-issued. History shows us the horrors that can occur when the government possesses all the guns. For example, in 1989, the Chinese government killed thousands of defenseless student protesters in what is known as the Tiananmen Square massacre. Only military and police were allowed to have guns. And in Europe during the 20th century, every year on average, 200,000 citizens were murdered. That's a number compiled by University of Hawaii political science professor R.J. Rummel. This is what happens when people hand their guns over to the government. In his book, Firing Back, Gun Owners of America's senior vice president Eric Pratt said, "The gun rights activist must stand on principle. Given that our rights come from God, there can be no compromise when we're defending the Second Amendment." When our founding fathers talked about God-given rights, including the right to keep and bear arms, they didn't take the topic lightly because they knew that human beings are grounded in faith and created by God. And any entity or element of society that would try to dispel that would be nothing other than the antithesis to God. They were so bound by faith that they never believed such an evil could infiltrate the minds and hearts of American people to the point that they would hand their sovereignty over to government. But just in case, they reminded the government that the violation of these rights would not be an option. However, some have decided that they know better than God and our founding fathers. So while groups like Gun Owners Foundation fight in the courts to preserve the Second Amendment, we also must fight against the evil that indoctrinates the minds of those who think they're better off being led by the godless in their quest for power. The Second Amendment is not a government-issued privilege. It's your God-given right. Thanks for watching Bullet Points. I'm Dan Wass for Gun Owners Foundation. You can find more Second Amendment content and updates at gunowners.com.